Here is Palestinian Senator Chuck Schumer.
Premiums will spike by thousands of dollars a month. Millions will lose insurance. Democrats have sounded the alarm. We have demanded for months to meet with the Republican leadership. But Republican leaders refuse to even discuss the issue, let alone negotiate it. We've asked them to meet in the summer and throughout the shutdown. To this day, Republicans still say no. We asked President Trump to step in and meet with us to deliver lower health care for Americans, and instead, Donald Trump has taken the American people hostage, from cutting off food aid to hungry families and vets and seniors and kids, to manufacturing flight cancellations, to cutting off home heating aid, while he builds a billion-dollar ballroom with gold-plated toilets.
That's what I voted for, Chucky.
Therefore,
that's what I voted for.
I must vote no. This healthcare crisis is so severe, so urgent, so devastating for families back home that I cannot in good faith support this CR that fails to address the healthcare crisis. But let me be clear, however this vote turns out, this fight will and must continue. Democrats must fight because of millions of families will lose health care coverage. We must fight because children who are dying of cancer,
oh my God,
will not get.
The Democrats, the pro-abortion Democrats, are telling you how much they care about children.
Health care coverage. We must fight because a senior citizen cannot afford to pay $25,000 a year just for health insurance. We must fight to keep millions from financial ruin. And make no mistake about it, the American people know who is inflicting this healthcare trauma on them: Donald Trump and the Republicans. Americans will remember a Republican intransigence every time they make a sky-high payment on health insurance. So we are going to fight legislatively, fight back home, fight in the courts, and bring this fight in the elections. Healthcare costs made a major impact on the 2025 election, and they will certainly have an even greater impact on the 2026 election. So in conclusion, the contrast between the two parties is crystal clear. Republicans are the party hell-bent on taking people's health care away, all to bow to the billionaire elite and special interests. Democrats are united as the party of lower health care costs and improving our health care system. We will not give up this fight. We will deliver for the American people. I yield the floor.
And there's old Chucky Schumer right there. So what do you expect? What do you expect from this guy? He can cry, he can whine, and do you know what's going to happen? Trump is going to take full advantage of this. That's what's going to happen. He's going to take full advantage. All right, Democrat representative says he's completely perplexed after 8 Democrats voted to reopen the government. Let's hear this meltdown.
Pennsylvania. Congressman Boyle, thanks so much. I saw your statement on this deal, such as it is. I think you said you were a hell no on the deal. You know, no way to sugarcoat it, I guess. Can you explain how you interpret why this deal came together now, a few days after this blowout election where Democrats seem to be taking a victory lap, well, literally taking a victory lap, or at least had a victory? Why now would Democrats in the Senate decide to lay down their arms, you know, potentially end this shutdown, when the terms that are being offered by Republicans don't seem to have changed?
I can't explain it because, to be frank, to me, it makes absolutely no sense. I am completely perplexed by today's developments, or really the developments of the last few hours. On Tuesday, we essentially had the proof that the American people overwhelmingly were on the Democrats' side of this argument. Polls have been showing for weeks, over a month, that a pretty large number of Americans were with us. But people always question about the validity of polls. Where here we had on Tuesday the ultimate poll, and Democrats won everywhere. I mean, I'll take Pennsylvania, for example. Every competitive race or race that thought was going to be competitive, we won by double digits. We won in Clearfield County. a place that had not elected a Democrat in over a decade and that Donald Trump had carried by more than 50 points. That's how sweeping the victory was on Tuesday. So it's pretty clear that, we went to the polls. The American people understood that Republicans were making their costs go up, that Democrats were fighting to bring costs down. And
they just don't get it, dude. They will never get it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how insane of the situation it is. They will never get it. These pieces of garbage. This right here, like, again, this is where conservatives, right-wingers, influencers, all that shit, they need to get their shit together and get their messaging correct, because right now is a perfect time to show just what the Democrats are capable of, just what they are all about. This is the time right here. Now, will it happen? I don't know. But I mean, I guess time will tell. But it's just so funny. And I'm loving every single bit of it.
Fight to save the healthcare of the American people. And now all of a sudden, after this big victory, it's the Democratic side, or at least enough Democrats in the Senate, that are essentially caving. Again, it just makes no sense to me.
Congressman, there was, a statement. We heard the statement, I should say, by Senator Thune.
Keep crying. No one cares. Schumer is crying after the Dems were forced to fold again. Hang on.
Democrats have been fighting to get the Senate to address the healthcare crisis. This bill does nothing to ensure that crisis is addressed. I am voting no, and I will keep fighting. Democrats.
What's Bernie yapping about?
There are people who will now be paying 50% of their limited incomes for health care. Does anybody in the world think that makes sense? And if this resolution is passed tonight, we are on a pathway to throw 15 million Americans off of Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. 15 million. Our job is to create universal health care. Guarantee health care to every man, woman, and child, not throw 15 million people off the health care they have, low income and working class people. And my friends, know what you are voting on. Studies are out there that when you throw 15 million people off of health care, some 50,000 of our fellow Americans will die unnecessarily every single year. Anyone think that's funny? Something to laugh at? Something to just go past? I don't. 50,000 Americans die unnecessarily. Now, I know as part of this resolution that the majority leader is going to say, well, Democrats can put together their own bill, and it'll come to the floor here in the Senate for a vote. As everybody here knows, that is a totally meaningless gesture. You can get 100 votes here in the Senate. Won't mean anything because the House is not going to take it up, and the President of the United States certainly will not sign it.
Who takes this guy seriously at this point in time? Seriously. Like, I truly want to know, like, who is a person that takes Bernie Sanders seriously? Bernie Sanders, the guy that led a political movement that actually had some traction and some legitimacy until, of course, Hillary stole his nomination right in front of his face. And instead of Bernie continuing on showing, hey, you know what? We have a movement and we're going to build upon that movement. Instead, he cucked to Hillary immediately. The person that stole his nomination, and he cucked immediately. At that point in time, you will never be taken seriously ever again by anyone with any common sense. None whatsoever. None. You can't. It's impossible. All right, here we go. Yep, there it is. Boom. U.S. Senate advances bill to reopen the federal government. President Trump's pressure is now culminating into a huge victory for the American people. 60-40, Chuck lost, Americans won. Time to land the plane. Trump did it. Several procedural steps remain until they can fully reopen. Once it clears Senate, it must go to the House. Hurry up. So there you have it right there. Another dub for Trump. So, yeah, I mean, Democrats literally just wasted everyone's time and energy on accomplishing absolutely nothing.